general comments in regards to the Western Illinois game, and then I'll move on to the South Dakota game this coming week. Was excited, again, explosive offense, and Tyler Roll and the offensive staff continue to do a great job of getting the ball into our playmakers' hands, run, pass. You see some guys, some easy access throws and being able to break some tackles. Yards after contact have become a huge deal. But we got 3-4 really good receivers. We got some good tight ends and backs, and we're doing a nice job of spreading the ball out. And you even see our fullbacks getting involved in the pass game as well. So excited with that. Defensively, I think through the first 3 quarters, they were 2 of 11 on third down. Again, when you can get teams off the field, you have opportunities to win, and especially when you can get our offense back on the field. I think those 2 things really tie into a high level of success for the Bison. Of course, some of the negative, winning the turnover battle, I'll say that as well. That's both sides of the football, and special teams have to be involved in it for that to be successful. Still too many penalties. Kind of a unique game. We only had 1 penalty in the first quarter, and then a barrage of 6 different penalties in a course of about 20 different plays from scrimmage. And the unique thing is it was 6 different people that had penalties, and so something we'll continue to address. Something we got to handle. When you play good football teams, you can't put yourself behind the chains. You can't get in your own way, and so I think we'll learn from it. We'll talk about some of them as we move forward. Some of them were probably just us being a little bit over-aggressive, trying to be too physical at times. A couple of the holding calls, I can think of the one on Ben Ellison for sure. I think Ben was trying to plant a guy into the turf and probably just got his hands outside of his frame. So I'm never going to get too upset when they're high energy, the unsportsmanlike, lining up, legal procedures. Those are the ones that I get more concerned about because we can't control those from a mental aspect. But otherwise, big contest this week. USD, high-octane offense. They're going to throw it all over the place. They haven't done it in the last 2 weeks. They've done a really good job of running the football. Austin Simmons, their quarterback, very talented. They get into a lot of gun-run game with him. More RPO to pass than the run pass option, and so he does a really good job. They have some Henry, the running back number 2, I think is a really good back and has shown to do some nice things. Much improved up front on the offensive line than they were a year ago. So we'll have our hands full as we move forward this week. Looking forward to getting to practice. We've already talked about it. Our kids understand that we need to win this one, and it being senior week, last home game or regular season home game for our seniors, it'll have a little bit more magnitude for those kids and for the rest of the team, because we're going to make sure do everything we can to get those seniors out on the right note. With that, I'll open it up to questions.
Talking about senior day there, can you talk about this group of 14, what they've meant to you, how they supported you in this transition, and just what stands out about them and character-wise? Well,
we don't have as many in numbers as maybe we've had the last few years, but we got quality, and I think that was critical. Over the course of the summer, I got to know these seniors probably a little bit better than some. We had a book club this summer for some of the seniors, and we read Legacy, the story of the All Blacks, over the course of the summer, and you get to know guys a little bit better, especially from the offensive side. The guys on defense, I had probably a really good connection with, and for these guys to put their trust into me, into new staff, or at least half of a new staff, says a lot about their character, a lot about that they still continue to trust the process and the things that we do here at NDSU, the preparation that we put in every week, and excited to recognize these guys this week. I know as the week probably comes to an end, there'll probably be more emotions and trips down memory lane with a couple of them, I'm sure.
Mention of book club. How'd that get started?
It was something that I've always wanted to do, and so we kind of had a leadership council this summer, and we had a speaker come and visit with us last spring, and he referenced the book a number of different times. And the All Blacks are a rugby team, the winningest probably professional sports organization in the world, and it's funny to see a lot of similarities between the Bison and them, and I think it was good just to reiterate and some of the things that we're trying to accomplish here at NDSU, and that we can't forget about the little things that have gotten us here.
The feedback you got from some of the guys about that, whether the book club in general, the book in general, or spending that much time with head coach?
Well, I think the one thing they liked is a lot of times we would connect in the mornings. There was a few breakfasts included, and so that was always good. But it was the first time I've ever done anything like that, and so Ty Brooks was the one that I was worried about. And Ty read it, and Ty was excited about it. And I gave him all a copy of the book, and Ty immediately texted me and said, "Coach, you just changed the word All Blacks to Bison, and this book's about us." And Ty, I wonder why we're reading it then. You know, that's good. That's good. So no, it was, and probably something we'll do in the spring. This was kind of a test run. We'll probably do it maybe at a grander scope in the spring. But I think there's always things you can learn. If you're willing to read, you're willing to learn, in my opinion.
There are other books you could read too.
I've read yours. I haven't referenced it. But if that's what you're referring to, I've read that book.
What's the injury situation? Jabriel's out there, or what's going on?
Well, as of right now, I'm not really sure. We're gonna go to practice today and prepare as if he was not available. We have a couple other guys that are banged up as well. Cole Cars is one of them. Won't be at practice today either. So this is going to be a great test for us. We've been in these situations before. Next man up. And I'm excited to connect with the team. We'll meet a little bit earlier today than normal, get practice started. But everyone's going to have to play just a little bit better maybe this week if we're missing some of our starters.
Can you be more specific? Lower leg injury at Jabriel. What happened?
As of right now, there's not any. There was no. It was. I think they were looking lower leg. Nothing structural, but at the same time, it's the young man's health you're talking about. So we got to make the right decisions. And I am far from a doctor, so I'm going to let our medical staff handle it.
7 sacks through 10 games. Is that offensive line, or is that your quarterback, or is it a combination of both?
I think it's a combination of both. I think Trey does an outstanding job. You saw it this week on that 3rd and 11 as we were going towards the north end zone. He had all day, and then hit Jimmy Kepouros across the middle. I think there was other times during the course of the game this week where he had a lot of time and there was great coverage. And teams are starting to play a little more back to the ball defense or more man coverage. And so he's done a nice job of picking his spots when to take off. But I think it's a combination of everything. And also then, the ball getting out quick, kids getting open. And that's some of the things that I think you see from our play development and our play calling is there's times we're giving Trey easy access throws, throwing the key, throwing the hitch, where the ball's coming out right now where it could have been called a run play in the huddle. And it's just a communication between him and the receiver.
Is getting close?
Yes, my fingers are crossed as I say that, but I sure would. It'd be nice to get him back. I know it's been a frustrating injury, much like Dimitri Williams early in the year. It just seems like it tried to get him back up to moving around, kind of got set back, and so we'll play it day by day. But I hope this week will be it.
Have you gotten clarity on Zach Mathis as far as a long-term thing?
He was running last week, so we're anticipating that we just got to start working on some change of direction and things. I hope to get him back. We'll probably get him to Kramer here one of these days, so at least he can start getting back into football shape.
So your quarterbacks aren't getting sacked and they're not throwing interceptions. So that's a good combo for an offense, is to never turn it over and never get sacked. Is that?
Are you asking a question or making a statement?
It's pretty unique.
It is unbelievably unique, and I think it tells you the mental capacity of our quarterback. I think it also, again, Randy Hedberg as a coach and making sure Trey knows where his eyes need to be, what side of the formation he's going to work. Is there a certain route he wants to work first before he goes back to the other side? And just being smart with the football. And we want to win the takeaway. And Trey's, I've been around Trey enough, and he's heard us probably defensively enough talking about the emphasis of getting takeaways. He knows that we need to protect the football and do everything we can. And he's made some big-time throws. He can throw it across the field from the hash, and he's done a nice job. And we'll continue to rely on him. But, not anything that we ever plan on in this situation, but I'm not going to turn it down either.
In the discussion for the Peyton Award as the best player in FCS this year?
I think he needs to be worried about winning a football game this week, and I'm going to worry about that as well.
Jalen Bussey someone where now you kind of have to look and see, okay, we got 3 games. Which 3 games? I mean, did he make that much of a statement?
I think. Well, he's dressed all year. I mean, so it wasn't as if we just thought we were putting in just some guy. You know, we recruited him because he was pretty talented. I think, as I said on Saturday, Kobe kind of picked the playbook up a little bit. Kobe has a little bit more size to him, but both of them have very similar skill sets. And so I think he's going to continue to probably dress as we move forward. The healthier we stay, the less likely he'll play. But I think it's always good to have an ace in hand, just in case, or if we need to get out of a game like we did on Saturday.
Graduation years.
Exactly. Yeah. Why do you want to have 2 good players graduate at the same time? If we can split them up, I think that's extremely valuable, not only for the kids, but also for our program in general.
Defensive guy, can you put into perspective how terrifying this NDSU offense is for the rest of the Valley, especially seeing some of that young talent that they got to see this weekend that they know is just coming down the pipeline?
Well, I hopefully, just because of recruiting and getting the right type of players in here, we've been able to force people to have to defend the entire field. And by having outside receivers that, can all make plays, by having inside receivers that can run across the middle, and then an effective run game, I think you've seen our run game pay dividends to our pass game. And if you're going to play us in quarters coverage, you're going to get double moved, and we're going to try to work back inside and get to the middle of the field. If you're going to play man coverage, we're going to try to do some things in the slot with guys like Jimmy and Phoenix. And so, I think both of them really lead to the other having success. And then we have a quarterback that makes really good decisions too, and can get us in and out of plays and get us in the right protections. And that's critical in itself.
Speak to just how impressed you've been with Jimmy Kepouros. He took a long road to get to this season.
He has, no question. There was a 1 year at Western Michigan, then a year at a junior college back home where he didn't play football but was in school full time. Came here, ACL injury, within minutes of being on campus, it felt like. Had to fight his way back, battle his way back, learned the playbook. Has had 3 different coaches while he's been here also, which is never easy for kids. But then you continue to see him buy in and day out, and makes huge catches for us on 3rd down. I bet you go back, I haven't gone back and looked at the numbers, but I think if you were to look at some of our 3rd and long conversions, it's Jimmy Kepouros making plays for us. He's carried the football out of the backfield on some of our jet stuff. Immensely valuable. I mean, and he's allowed us, again, as the head coach, he's allowed us not to have to play some other maybe young freshmen who are capable. But boy, if we can keep holding off and save those games, the Jacob Lippies, the Braylon Hendersons, I think that's a positive.
Seeing the distribution of touchdowns, pass or receptions, yards, whatever it is, the even distribution across the offense, is that a conscious effort of the play calling, or is that a result of what Trey is seeing and the decisions he's making?
I think it's twofold. I think it's how the plays are set up, how Coach Roll and our offensive staff are putting together our game plans. But also, I think Trey has trust in everyone who goes out there. And I think that you see that just by the number of throws he has to receiver. I know yesterday I saw that our fullbacks have 10 catches. You'd probably have to go back a few years to find when our fullbacks. Garrett Malmstrom makes some catches out of the backfield. So that's just a great example of you have to defend everything. And again, decision-making, taking the throws, taking what defenses are giving us and turning those into positive results.
Describe the swing of emotions on Friday, being a dad for the state championship, and then senior day and a game on Saturday.
It's going to be interesting. I know I have 2 young boys at home that are extremely excited, and I know they're excited to get to practice today already. They are with no school. I think they're going to have a little bit earlier practice than normal, but they were at the kitchen breakfast counter last night, and someone had his huddle open, so it must be a coach's kid.
You mentioned after the game on Saturday about addressing the elephant in the room about the conference championship. Why the direct approach on that to already start it right after the game rather than maybe today or tomorrow?
That's the next thing. And I think with this group, sometimes we need to have a carrot out there in front of us. And a couple weeks ago, it was all of a sudden we were playing at night, and we needed to make sure that we didn't fall into that lackluster start that maybe we've seen at Youngstown before. And maybe it's just different. I'm going to continue to challenge these kids and find something that not necessarily gets them excited, but sometimes I'll be the pessimist and challenge them. But I think these seniors deserve this, and maybe that's just how much they mean to me. This team means to me, and I think let's talk about it. If we need to go, and how fun would it be to win a conference championship, or at least a share of it, in the Fargo Dome in front of our family and friends and fans.
How's Trey Ford hung in there for 5 years, a special teams guy? What's your opinion of him?
He's done a great job. He had as good a day on special teams on Saturday that I can remember. Made a number of plays on kickoff coverage. He's probably our third or fourth corner, and getting in there. Plays unbelievably hard. Comes to work every day. Does an outstanding job. Excited. He'll graduate here coming up, and having a grandfather who played for the Bison, I think it's really neat for Trey to finish up his career and go through everything and be a vital part of what we're doing. He's really helped guys like Terrell Hall, Anthony Coleman, kind of start to understand what we're looking for defensively. Trey, he understands football, and he's been a great asset for the Bison.
Tyler Roll handled, his issues with his mom going through all year. There's a benefit for her.
Yep.
How's he handled that?
You guys know Tyler. He's going to keep that stuff pretty close to the vest. Over the course of the summer, I think everyone on staff was somewhat involved or knew what was going on and saying our prayers and offering our support. And that's all we could do. And she was up at the office here. It was a Friday, maybe before we played Missouri State. Had a chance to get a big hug from her. It's good to see her out moving around. And I knock on wood that the worst is behind them, and I know she's enjoying time with her grandkids.
You mentioned Terrell Hall. Might we see him soon?
He played on Saturday. Yep. So, and it was good that it wasn't very loud because we needed to instruct where he needed to go a little bit. So, it's not always pretty the first time you get out there and have your first opportunity to play. But, you got to look, not creating excuses, but the majority of the kids that were out there at the end were our scout team all week. They knew Western's defense better. They probably know ours right now. But, it is what it is. Getting that live experience and those live reps are critical in their development over the course of their career.
South Dakota has struggled this season as a team that's perennially been pretty solid, especially defensively. It seems they've been not very good.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I know they had I think they had some coaching change on staff, and I'm sure whatever their issues are, Coach Nielsen's trying to rectify those, just from my experience of working with him and having the opportunity to play with him. He's not much one for things to get off track. He is very he wants it his way, and so I'm sure they're working hard to get it right. All right, thanks, guys.